Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Growing and Becoming podcast. I hope you've been well. As you can see, I have somebody, a stranger in my house.
Lucky.
He's not so much of a stranger, actually. But who are you? Why are you here?
So I'm Simon Yates, and
Simon.
Well, I'm Onome's colleague. And I feel very blessed, very lucky to be here.
What an honor.
Yeah, and I feel like the reason why I've come here is not because I'm an expert at anything or on this subject.
He's very modest, you know.
No, it's true. But the reason why I'm here is because I thought I think it's a great thing you're doing. And I wanted to support you and the podcast. I don't know whether I am, but we'll see. That's the reason why I'm here.
That's very kind of you, Simon.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that. You you got on the train all the way here from Birmingham.
Yeah,
that's a long way.
It's a beautiful city, and I hope you two will be showing me around a little bit later. So.
Definitely. We have plans. Simon, listen, you can't come all the way to Manchester. I won't show you around.
Thank you.
I mean, you've only been here twice, so.
Yeah, and also the only 2 times I come here before was literally just come here, football, go home. So I feel like I haven't.
So
No.
We're going to make memories. We're already making memories.
Happy days.
Lovely. But yeah, Simon is my colleague. We met at work. Simon saw me and he was like, "Oh, she's so cool and so fantastic. I have to be her friend." Yeah. That was
what probably happened was I looked at you and I thought, "Oh, you might be Nigerian." And I probably went up to you and went, "Are you Nigerian? Do you speak Yoruba?" And then you went, yes, but no. And I probably then tried to speak some Yoruba and you were like, "Oh, you do speak that." That's probably what happened. Let's be realistic.
Yeah,
because I feel like I do that to everyone who I think might look Nigerian. I always ask because I like to practice, but I don't know. My Yoruba skills, they're drift.
I do know that was actually very shocking for me because like when you said like I'm a Nigerian, I was like, oh, it's probably just trying to be polite and nice. But then you actually said, I think it was Bawoni.
Yeah, Bawoni. Yeah. And
I was like, what? And then you said you have a Yoruba name. What's your Yoruba name?
I call it my Nigerian name, and it was given to me. Well, it was in collaboration. Is Ola Simon.
Ola Simon. What does that mean?
It means bring wealth to Simon. So
it
didn't work.
And that's a very good one. You know, like you could have gone with anything else. Why did you go with that?
Well, I feel like it's the most common name I see with. Who are me?
Ola this, Ola that.
Yeah. So a lot of my friends are called Ola. So that's, if I'm being honest, it's because it's probably the only name I really knew.
Fair enough.
I liked it. Yeah.
That's good. Would you ever change your name?
No.
I just had to try. Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's really nice that you put in the efforts to get to know other cultures. I think that's really good.
Yeah.
And in the spirit of, getting to know other cultures, you will be trying my very lousy attempt at making puff-puff.
Really excited.
Listen, the puff-puff I made today looks terrible. I actually wish I did like a video. Maybe we should have done that so people could see how it looks at first, because it actually looks really scary.
Yeah.
Because it was just like it was forming up weird. Like I told you, it's meant to be like perfectly round.
Obviously, but
then it was having like arms and legs and tails.
I think you were a harsh critic because I think they look really good.
Well, because like I
don't know where the camera can see it, but what I think they look like is like a profiterole.
Well, yeah,
without the cream and the.
But the truth is, when we drop this video, the Nigerians in that, like any Nigerian who sees,
they're gonna judge you.
They will judge me.
Yeah, well,
because like it looks.
They're a bunch of losers.
You had it first, so you better not critique me. Fair enough. Okay, so
well, let me try it on, Alex. I want to try it.
You try one and you tell me how it tastes. It's a bit cold, but
yeah. All right, thank you. Is there any one or?
Yeah, you can have as many as you want.
Okay. I feel like what do they call it? A mukbang when you like eat food and do a podcast and that.
Oh, I don't know.
Cheers.
That thing.
I think so. Yeah.
It's really good. It's actually really nice, right?
It's really nice.
You can't tell me my food is...
Onome, take that gun away. It's nice.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm only joking.
I'm sure people are like, blink twice if you need help. But Simon, you're in my house. You can't say my cooking is bad.
No, I think it's really nice. And do you know what? I love my food.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And
I've eaten Nigerian food before. I've cooked Nigerian food, so I eat everything. I love it.
Thank you for that very kind review of my puff-puff. Appreciate it.
Really nice.
I really hope that I did not disappoint my Nigerian kindred. But whatever, even if I did, whatever. Simon likes it. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
And my husband thinks it's nice, right, babe? No, you can actually say
Yes. I yeah.
Wow. So you're not being honest right now.
It's really nice.
Good. Good. Because you get to sleep next to me for the rest of your life. That way, yeah, be careful.
What's under the pillow?
Never know, Simon.
Yeah.
You actually never know.
Might be a weapon.
But yeah, I think that was a really nice icebreaker.
Yeah.
Get into like the serious stuff. Not like serious stuff, but actually.
Nah, well, to be honest with you, Onome, you know me. I feel like I struggle to be serious.
Which is
So-
funny.
I'll try.
Mind you, Simon is my senior colleague. Like he's in a more senior role than I am. So he's like,
I don't feel like I act it though, do I? I hope I don't.
"Yeah."
Oh.
That's the thing, yeah. And I think that's also like a good way we could probably start this episode. Just talking about like a lot of the stereotypes in the workplace and like how people should look like or how they should talk like or sound like. What are some of the stereotypes to like how people should conduct themselves in the workplace?
Do you know what? That's something I've really struggled with, especially early on in my career, because I came from the environment of, from school,
Mm-hmm.
which I absolutely loved, and I just used to have fun.
Yeah.
Like every lesson, I loved it. Sitting next to my mates, having a good
You're a
time.
troublesome student.
I wasn't troublesome. Listen, I had just such a great time. I feel like the teachers, I like the teachers. I loved my friends in school. I didn't have any enemies, well, that I knew of. I just had.
Simon.
I might have. I don't know. I feel like I was a bit oblivious. I just went through life a bit like
That's actually really good.
happy days. I absolutely loved it, and so I think I was quite innocent.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went into the work, and also I was sort of taught, be you, be yourself,
Mm.
which I sort of think it's not actually good advice. Because when you go into the workplace, you've got to put on like workplace me, which I didn't
It's quite
realize. Yeah, you have to act in a certain way. And so like when I first went into my job, I was probably like, I wanted to make friends with people. I just saw these people as, oh, you could be my friend, having a good time, making jokes. Obviously, I still do the work, but my priority was to get on with people, to have a good time, to be myself. And then as I got a bit, when I learnt more things, when I had chats with more senior colleagues, when I got into trouble, as I probably, did too much, then you realise, oh no, you've actually got to be a completely different person.
Yeah.
You've got to be, because we've all got that sort of dark side to our character, which I like to get out and have a play with. But you've got to put that down. You've got to be like more kind, more polite to everyone.
more conscious and like
Yeah, more sensitive because, people can be offended. And I feel like because I'm so free, naturally, and I just say things that come to my head, you've got to be really careful in the workplace. And because when you're with your mates, these are people who get on with you, you know your humour, you know theirs, you can be yourself. But when you're with a mix of people who you don't pick, you do have to be more reserved. And I think that for me was the biggest one. I was like, oh my God, this is different,
That's so interesting.
Also, I think since COVID, for young people, it's probably a bit more challenging because they might not be going into the office as much as, I did when I first started going to work. So then you're only going in maybe once a week. You're not really getting exposure to learning these things,
Yeah.
So it must be quite difficult for that younger generation because you're a little bit younger than me. I don't know. Did you? Well, you're a lot younger than me. Sorry, Onome.
Simon, we're not. No, I'm not.
No, you are. But I mean, I don't. Because were you ever in that situation where you're going into the office every day, or were you more post-COVID, that sort of era? Because it must be more challenging.
I was definitely post-COVID because I went from my undergrad to post-grad, and then that's when I started working.
There you go.
Like for the past 3 years, I would say I've been working from home.
That's crazy. And even in this hybrid role, you're only coming in like once a week. I think that's really hard because how can you learn those skills?
Yeah.
Some people, I feel like it comes naturally to them, but someone like me, who was probably a bit more immature, a bit more, less serious. If I
Who gets to say that that's called immaturity?
Oh, I do. I know it is. I'm realistic. I just look at myself in the mirror.
Like,
But I feel like someone like me, if I was going into work now, I wouldn't learn these things until years later when I'm like 30. You know, when you get into your 30s and that, if you're still not knowing how to behave, that's a bit like, I think when you're younger, obviously you can get away with a few things.
Yeah.
But it's important things to learn, you know? That was something that needed to happen because I couldn't have stayed the same as I was at, 18, 20 when I first started working. I couldn't be that person at 50 in the office because that would be, could you imagine? You know what I mean? So that was just something that I think everyone goes through, but it's something that when you first go into the workplace, I wasn't aware of.
Well, just kind of going back to the conversation about like the workplace and being able to navigate the changes. Because as you say, it's a necessary change and change is not cute, it's not pretty.
No.
It's difficult. It's difficult knowing that you have to be in a certain way when you go into certain rooms.
And I still haven't cracked it, by the way.
Exactly. Like
I'm sure if colleagues watch this, they'll be like, you've matured. Is this you mature? They're going to be like, what were you like before?
I can imagine.
You know what I mean, Onome, mate?
I mean, everyone will
I think of me as like, I'm a reformed person. I've still got a long way to go.
Because like everyone is wondering, like, when did Simon get so serious? But to be fair, we all know you have it in you, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do like the fact that you're bringing yourself, obviously yourself, you're presenting who you are in a different way. And that's a skill that a lot of people like don't have, but it can be learned, I would say. Because I mean, you didn't learn. So I get the fact that obviously you're not the same as you were when you were in school, when you're in uni, but like you haven't lost yourself entirely because you're outside work. I still see some element of like this person in the office where you're making people laugh, you're making people comfortable. I mean, look at how we started talking. To be honest, that's not the typical intro. And it was in a meeting. I remember it was in a meeting. And like, you just, started asking my name and everything. And you started telling me your Yoruba name. And I felt so comfortable.
That's good.
And that's because like you were able to bring your personality in the workplace. It wasn't inappropriate or anything. It was still very professional, but friendly. Yeah, and I think like it's very important that a lot of people are able to learn that skill where they're able to, balance professionalism with friendliness because they're not two opposites.
Yeah, and you have to be careful because you can't be too friendly.
Can't be too friendly. I think that's the thing. Like it's very new.
I think sometimes I do cross that boundary. But I'd rather be on that side of the spectrum than being really cold. But you know what? Thanks for mentioning all of that. That means a lot to me because I feel like that element of my character, that comes from my mum, my wonderful mum, or my Irish nanny.
Shout out to you, mummy.
Honestly, big up. But she's small but mighty. But she always told me, never leave someone out. If someone's in the corner, always bring them in. So whenever there's someone new joining the team, or even if there's someone establishing a team, but I feel like they're quite quiet, I'll always ask them the question, what do you think? Because I don't know, I've always got in the back of my mind, it's not even something I actually think about, it just comes out. If I feel like there's a new person, they must be a bit nervous, let's ask them a little question, or can I make them smile? But do you know what I mean? I'll try and lower the tension, try and make them feel, welcome, I think it's really important.
And it's so powerful. And
that comes from mum, so big up.
Big up to you, mummy. But yeah, I think that's so important. Like, it's such a beautiful skill to have. And that's something that I tend to do in my spheres of influence.
Yeah.
But you know what it is? In the workplace, it's so different.
It is.
Like, I find myself moving towards the shadows even more, even though that's not who I am. Like, my personality is big. Yeah. I'm the kind of person that will walk up to a stranger and say hello. But like, and I think that's also one thing that we should definitely talk about, the fact that people experience the workplace differently. For you, obviously you've had that training from your mom, you've lived here all your life. So imagine someone who's from a just really different culture, background, is coming to a workplace, and then you're this new person, like you're obviously very foreign. Yeah. And it's like, okay, I'm not quite sure what do I do? Yeah. So I find myself, and that's a conversation I was having with my friend very recently. I was just saying to her that I find that when I'm in the office, because I'm a Nigerian who works in the UK, so I fall into the minority ethnic group. Yeah. And when I find myself in those predominantly like British or maybe white British spaces, I don't know what to say. I don't know I don't know what to do. I feel so lost, even though I've been.
You're actively thinking about.
Yeah, like I'm overthinking everything, and then I sat there like, okay, do I say this? But if I say that, next thing you know, 30 minutes is gone.
Oh, no.
So that's why people like you are so...
Because I'm not like that. Oh.
Because like then, when I'm just there smiling in my head, and then there's someone like you who says, oh, what do you think?
Yeah.
And like being able to, recognize that there's someone else there, and like this person is probably nervous, and like you reel me in.
Yeah. And also I feel like people that know me, like yourself, they know that I'm not judging you.
Absolutely.
Because I like to, I'll say self-deprecating humour. So people know that I'm not judging other people,
Yeah.
Or I never talk bad about anyone. I don't talk behind people's backs. So I feel like people do feel quite comfortable and feel like they can be more of themselves with me. I like to think anyway.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, like you would never get it right with everybody.
No, of course not. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just wanted to...
That's a shame though that you feel, or was that more when you first joined, was it?
It's not necessarily about where we were. I think it's just my experience. It's not just even me.
Fair.
It's common to everyone like me, like immigrants who have come into this country or going to any country at all that they're not familiar with. The culture is different. Everything is different.
Yeah.
Like it's just very different because you're not well versed on like pop culture. It's hard, and unless they actually...
And you feel bad for keep going, what?
Yeah. And it's like when you keep asking questions all the time, like, oh, I don't know.
Am I being irritated?
Yeah, it's like you're overthinking all these things, and it's normal, to be honest.
Because I think I've had a similar experience to you, because previously, because I'm from London, and even in the UK, there's different cultures here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
So like when I moved to Liverpool, oh my God, I was like, where am I? I'm like, is this the UK? Like, I was like, where am I? Yeah. I was like, people couldn't understand me, and I was people genuinely, they couldn't understand. They kept going, what? And I feel like now I've got a neutral accent. People say I've still got a London accent.
I think it's really neutral.
People could not understand me up there, and I was struggling to understand them. And then so I felt like I sort of, and then in certain social groups, but I think I was overthinking it too much. Am I fitting in? But so then when I made an active decision, when I moved from London this time to Birmingham, and I told everyone when I first came into the office, she wasn't there, but I was like, I'm, Simon or whatever, I'm from London, but I'm a Brummie now. So I'm from Birmingham. I said, because I want to be part of, I'm one of you, I'm part of the group. I've really tried to like, I don't know, get to know, be involved. I'm one of you. I'm part of the group, if that makes sense. I don't know whether it's worse or not, but I felt like that was like an active decision in my head to be like, right, I'm Brummie, I don't know if that makes any sense, but
no, that's
what I did.
That's a very good tip.
I didn't change my accent or anything, because that would be weird.
No, actually, bless you for saying that, because I remember like one of my friends from uni, she made it like a I think it was an article or post on LinkedIn, I can't remember, about like accents and everything, coming with a Nigerian accent. So because I went to a predominantly white university, so like coming from Nigeria to like that kind of environment, right? Like there's this urge to want to change how you speak, because you think that then they will like
you fit in, or
you either fit in or people will be able to understand you better. People who are typically non-English speakers, when they are in rooms where there's mostly English speakers, they feel like, okay, maybe they have to change their accent. So it happens subconsciously. Like obviously I know that some people, like it happens subconsciously because you want to be able to fit in, as you say, and also be more like, you feel like people will not get what you're saying because you have an accent. But
I think it's natural though, because even when I listen to my mum, because she phones her sisters and her brothers like every day, she'll be on the phone to one of them, I'm thinking, who is that person on the phone? Because she speaks in a completely different accent. Because when she's in and around the house, just speaking to me, the dad or whatever, when I'm back home, I feel like she speaks in an English accent. My friends, they will say, no, she sounds Irish. But then when she's on the phone to her brothers and sisters, oh my God, she sounds so Irish. I'm like, but she doesn't think about it. It's just because, I don't know. So I think it's the environment you're in. I don't know. I think it's just a natural a little bit to do that. But you don't want to lose yourself. And also you're proud of, where you come from, culture. You've probably still got family over there.
Absolutely. And I think it's even more difficult because, like, as I was saying to you, like, English is the only language I speak. Please don't judge me. English is the only language I speak. But then to a Brit, I'm not an English speaker. So it's like I speak very good English. But then because I do not have a British accent, you find like some people are probably struggling to hear me, but like, no, my English is impeccable. You can't tell me. Come on, Simon. Come on. Yeah. So it's like, that's all I know. But then because of that accent, I guess maybe that's why some people, so for some people, obviously when you live in a place, you tend to adjust. But it's like, when you've been here for like, a few days, come on, darling. It's okay to embrace the fact that you sound differently. If you want to learn the language better, absolutely. And I think if you want to pronounce words better, absolutely. But like, I'm speaking English and I'm speaking English very well. I don't sound anything like you.
No, of course not.
Yeah. So I think it's, I just wanted to point out that fact, like having an accent that's different to everybody else in your workplace is totally fine. It's not,
100%.
like you don't necessarily have to change yourself. You can say, you know what, I'm Nigerian, but you know, I live in the UK now, so I need to start adjusting myself to the UK culture, English culture.
Yeah, I need to start seeing some England flags outside.
Yeah.
Heroes are on.
That's what my husband has to paint the house, like paint the house with the English flag. But sorry, I'm like, sorry. But yeah, really good conversation about you know, being able to, like, when you step into a new place, being comfortable with being uncomfortable at first.
Yeah.
You might feel like, okay, I need to learn new things. Absolutely, it's normal. But there's still a part of you that you should not be quick to like let go of. So as a London, like a Southerner, you are a Southerner. You can't change that. If you then move to Manchester, you would still be a Southerner, but then embrace the Manchester culture and you would try to fit in. It's absolutely fine. I think that's one thing, just to encourage like anybody who might be struggling with adjusting to the workplace as someone who's not a local. So whether you move from another city, another state, another country, another continent, wherever it is you're coming from, just know that you can learn like the new culture. So very quickly, I just want to know what you think networking is. What does that look like?
Yeah, I think networking, I see that as your ability. It's like a group of skills that you utilize, like communication skills, to be able to put across an idea or to be able to influence people. So for instance, if you were someone that just wasn't able to network effectively, you might have the best idea in the world. You also might be very passionate about it. And I think in public health, the industry that we work in, there's a lot of that as well. A lot of people have ideas, they're really passionate.
Yeah.
If you're not able to, you know, make other people go, oh yeah, I can see that, let's adopt that. If everyone's just going, oh no, forget that, everyone shuts you down, that would be like really demotivating and depressing. So if you're not able to network in terms of being able to build relationships with people, being able to influence people, get people on board with your ideas, I mean, it's going to be really lonely, frustrating, and you're going to have a terrible time at work. But also, you know, so for the individual, for yourself, I think it's really important to develop those networking skills. But it's important for the organisation, for your team's goals, because you've got to network with other teams within, you know, your organisation or with external organisations. You know, we're never silo working.
Absolutely.
Whole systems approach and all of that.
Yeah.
So to be able to effectively, you know, implement change, achieve your organisation's goals, your team's goals, you need to be able to network effectively.
Absolutely.
I feel like I'm not answering your question, but
no, definitely. No, you answered my question brilliantly. Would you say that networking has helped your career personally?
I would say so, because I feel like, what do I actually know? I feel like, it has helped, because the ability to communicate, to get on well with people, that's half the game, if not most of it. Obviously, if you're just too one-sided, all you can do is speak to people, but you're not really given much substance, you're going to be found out eventually. But it opens doors, you know, being able to network. Like, I've been invited to events, you know. But so I feel like networking has massively helped. And even getting meetings with people, little things, you know, just being able to write emails in a certain way to get replies. Because the amount of times I've heard people say, oh, they still haven't replied yet, I feel like I've never had that issue. Do you know what I mean? So it's just little things like that.
Simon, there's this lady I sent an email to. She hasn't responded to me in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, do you know what? There's a website that I use sometimes. It was a really important email.
Yeah.
There's a guy, what is it? I think his name's Chris Voss. He's an author. He created this company, the Black Swan or something. So he used to be the FBI's hostage negotiator. So he's like really switched on in terms of like negotiating, getting people on board, etc. He wrote this book. What was it? I think it was. He was talking about negotiating anyway. The art of negotiating. I don't remember.
Okay.
Chris Goss, but he created this thing. It's like Black Swan rules for emails. It's like 4 different rules. Whenever I've got to do an important email, I always open that link up, put that on one screen, the other screen.
You shared that with me before.
Oh my God, it's a lifesaver. And I feel like such a nunty, like, do you know, following these like 4 rules to write an email, but I feel like it works. Do you know what I mean? So don't get me to quote the rules. It's like keep it concise. You know, like the first line should be give them, you know, let them know, you know, in like a few words, what do you want from them? Is it this email contains, you know, a task, or this email is for your information? If it's an important email, I'll always specify what I need back from them. Then I'll put concisely what I need from them. If it's like something that I know they're not going to like, I'll put apologies. So I'll start it off like that. Or I might say, you're not going to like this. Here's what, do you know what I mean? So not catch them off the guard. And then I'll always leave on a positive note. So
you leave on a positive note.
I never start.
Like I typically start by complimenting them.
Yeah,
like going on and on.
That's called sandwiching. So you start with positive, then it's so you make them like, oh yeah, and then it's like, oh, I need you to do this. You're not gonna, and then you've left them a positive. Do you know what I mean? You're taking them through that. But if you start it off, you let them know you're probably not gonna like this. They're prepared for it.
Oh, fair enough.
Then you let them know, and then you end it with, you know, if it's someone from outside the organisation, I might say, I would love to have a long and mutually beneficial relationship with you. There's always certain lines I'll use, and then warm regards. Do you know what I mean? But I feel like it works, you know?
Yeah.
I'm letting away my trade secrets here.
I really hope people are taking notes. I'm definitely taking notes. Like in my head, I'm already thinking, okay, so how do I apply this? But yeah, that's actually a very good tip. Do you have any other tips that you like to share about how people can effectively network in the workplace?
I think I don't know about specific to the workplace, but in general, just about. I think something that I've been thinking about recently is, you know, when some people, they say, "Oh, I can't stand being alone." Have you ever heard that from someone?
Yeah.
No, I just can't stand being alone. I've got to like listen to music, or, you know, I've got to be with friends, etc.
Yeah.
I think what that really means is I can't stand my own company, which is kind of brutal to think about. If you're one of those people that answers, you know, or says I can't stand being alone, you've probably got to change yourself until, you know, because that means that you're probably not that good company. If you don't like your own company, how are other people going to like it? You know, it's a lot of introspective thinking there.
Yeah.
And there's probably 2 ways that you could go about that. It's either like improving certain aspects of your character, or your, like, I don't know, communication skills, you know, maybe your listening skills. Like, we've got 2 ears and 1 tongue. We need to do more listening than speaking. But also it could be to get rid of bad habits, or, you know, stuff that you do that's, you know, people find irritating or annoying. So cut those things out. So you can either improve things or take away things that are bad.
Yeah.
So
like, how do you even know those things if you don't interact with people?
Yeah, it's tough. So you've got to put yourself out there. You have to. I think deep down, if you generally ask yourself, what is it that I need to do, you're going to be able to produce a list.
Yeah.
Or, you know, you might even ask yourself, what do I need to do to be more likable? Or what are the things that I do that are annoying?
Would you be able to know unless people tell you?
I think you do know, because I think, some of it is because you're told.
Yeah.
Some of it is because you're told. But yeah, other things, and also if you get in trouble, they're good wake-up calls where if someone pulls you up and say, oh, I'm not sure about that, or, you know, if someone reacts in a way where they're like, you know, they react to you like that or something, you know, you've done something that they didn't like. So you've got to look at people's reactions, and it's not that, it's that quick reaction that they have. If you say something, if they immediately go like, and then start smiling, you know they haven't liked it. So you've got to be aware. I think deep down we know. So if we talk too much, if we talk about ourselves too much, that's just a common thing. Or if you're not sure, you can just look up online, you know, what are traits, you know, about people that I'm dislikable, or you can find them out and you think, oh my God,
they're like,
I do that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I do that. And then, do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
True. Like very basic things like being rude, being dismissive, like you say, not being a very good listener.
Argumentative. Yeah. You can never win an argument. Even if you do win it, you lose it.
I think that's actually really good. I think it's a good first step for people who, especially for young people who are just now getting into the workplace. But even if you've been there long enough, as you say, we're constantly learning and we're constantly growing and becoming, just like that. So like, there's no end to that. You can always do some of these introspection and like self-assessments to know your shortcomings or like some of the areas for improvement. I think that's really good. It definitely will help with networking. But yeah, thank you. That was really nice. I think one thing that I wanted to ask was the common mistakes that people make when trying to build a professional relationship.
Well, I think the mistake that I made, which I alluded to earlier, was the mistake of wanting to be everyone's friend. I was overly friendly with everyone. I was, I felt like I was back in the playground, like, lesson plan, and which is a bit sweet in a way, looking back at it, because I was young and, I was, really eager, keen, but at the same time, you've got to know where you are. But that was the biggest mistake I've made. In terms of other people, I'm not thinking about some of my colleagues. I'm only joking. I love you, Candy.
That's gonna love it.
I'm only joking. But like, what was the question? I feel like Candy's going to hit me. That's what I can think of now. I think it's just simple ones, really. Like, talking too much about yourself, not listening. I think meetings are really difficult. So for me, I feel like if it's going quiet, I'll just start, I'll start speaking. Whereas or if someone asks a question, oh my God, I feel bad, no one's answering their question, I'll say something. When really, but when really I don't feel like I should. Because if I feel like I don't really know the answer, maybe I should just keep quiet. I don't know. Maybe I might be thinking, I don't know. That's a tough question to be. What do you think, Onome? I'm not really too sure.
I think I was going to say the first thing that you said. Trying to make friends with everybody. Not everybody has to be your friend.
And you might get lucky. You might
actually make friends in the workplace. I think that I still keep in touch with some people that I've worked with. Even while we were working, like it was actually really nice and cordial, like really, really good. But I think also, and I'll say this to people from the minority groups, like, and that's something that I'm very passionate about because I think I represent that demographic. But I would say that the fact that you see someone that looks like you or from the same place as you doesn't mean that you automatically become brothers. Like you're not friends. It's still a workplace, right? You should still build those relationships organically rather than assume that, because this person is Nigerian, this is Ghanaian, then, they're my friend. And don't be too disappointed if you find out that they don't want to be your friend. They're not obliged to be your friend just because you look the same or you speak the same or you sound the same. So still treat everybody as a colleague. I know it's exciting when you are part of a minority and then you see another person who's like you and you think, we should definitely come together and form a bond or like be allies. Not saying you shouldn't be allies, but I'm just saying don't think that everybody should be your friend. What else would I say? One thing that I've learned in my journey is the ability to receive feedback. It can actually be quite painful, especially if the giver of the feedback doesn't really know how to give feedback. Because some people are not very familiar with constructive criticism. So it's like they just shut you down, full stop. They're not even trying to help you be better. They just tell you what it is and like that's it. So it can be very demoralizing. For some people, they can get very defensive. They can get very on edge and they might not take it very well. And that will potentially affect your career. So it's very important that in the workplace, you learn how to receive feedback. I think one of my managers was actually really good with this because at first, especially as I say, being a Black person, I would just feel like, and especially when you watch all these like YouTube videos or you listen to other people's experiences, then coming to the workplace with your guards up and you think you might have the same experience. This is not to say that there are not institutional problems that exist. There are. However, everybody's experience is different. Exactly. And then, when you come into the workplace, maybe you're receiving feedback because you're not doing something very well. It's not because of it's not an attack on your personality or who you are as a person. It's just it's an attack on what you've done, like the results you've produced. That's the thing that they're addressing. They're not addressing you as a person. I think it's very important to learn how to
not take it personally.
Yeah, don't take things too personally.
Also, I think the person giving the feedback, they might be also really nervous about giving
that. Yeah, and they're not. Maybe no one's out there. Maybe they're just winging it.
Yeah.
Or maybe that was a bad day for them. So I think it's also something around making excuses for people and like giving grace. So if someone has made a pattern out of it, obviously you might want to call that out. Yeah, that's different. But then, if you get feedback that your work's not very good, it might not have anything to do with your gender. It might not have anything to do with your religion.
Yeah.
It might not have anything to do with your color, your race.
Might be because you're stupid. Yeah. Was that what you were about to say? Because personally, on him, I couldn't believe you were going to say that. How dare you?
I'm so glad my husband's here because someone actually put me in jail for saying things I did not say. Simon, I did not say that.
Oh, sorry.
Maybe I was thinking if I didn't. Simon, we have to be politically correct.
No, we are.
But yeah, maybe you're just really bad at your job.
Yes, that's what, yeah.
See, that's the more corporate way to say it. Areas for improvement.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, yeah.
But I think that's one thing I would say actually. So learn to receive feedback. What else?
I think that was a really good one. I didn't think about it. That's really good.
Simon, I'm a very wise woman.
Oh, cool. Do you know what? When you were speaking there about like different cult coming from a different community or having different colour skin.
Yeah.
I feel like if people like change their mindset of that could be like a superpower. Because I'm imagining it's really boring. If everyone looks the same and everyone's from the same family, the same, you know what I mean? Oh, we grew up down the road. Oh, yeah, do you remember that school? It's boring, isn't it? But if someone's from around the world and you're in a conversation, let's say you're all around the lunch table and you're all talking about your experiences from school. Yeah. Imagine someone went from a school that was completely wild and was just like, at my school, I learned how to shoot an arrow. Or something like that, or you know what I mean? That would be, I would be there like, wow.
Did you see this video about Chinese kids? Like they're learning how to bake.
Oh, like in the wild?
No, like in the school, but the school is set up in such a way that they're able to develop those life skills.
Yeah.
So it's like they work, they clean.
So it's actually useful things.
Yeah, it's useful things, like useful life skills, but they're kids.
Whereas I learned like what an Oxbow Lake is. Like every English kid knows what an Oxbow Lake is.
See, we're going to get to the part where you tell me a lot of this English stuff because, listen, I don't know what you just said.
Oh, no, mate, I don't know what I just said.
Where I grew up, we used to play 10-10 and what do we used to play? Tinkle, tinkle.
Yeah, you see, that's painful. That's fascinating because it's different.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I feel like it's a bit of a superpower. If I just see a new person come in and they look exactly the same as everyone else, it's be like, oh, hi, you're all right.
Yeah.
Whereas if someone's a bit different, it's a bit like, oh, you want to ask, even if you don't ask it, you want to ask questions. You know what I mean? But maybe I'm a bit different because I'm a bit more like, I do love learning different cultures. I'm learning, Persian, Farsi at the moment. So like, I feel like maybe I'm a little bit different, but I love it. Different cultures. Yeah. I grew up in South London, maybe that's why.
Yeah, it's quite diverse in London, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think what you said about perspective shift is so brilliant because it is everything.
Yeah.
The world will always have, bad people. People that are just a bit funny.
Yeah.
But if you approach the world, when you wake up every day and you approach the world like, oh, it's such a terrible world.
You're going to have a terrible day.
You're going to have a terrible day.
Yeah.
You're going to have a terrible life.
Yeah. And mate, also you can have bad days. Everyone can wake up in a bad mood.
Yeah, definitely.
9 times out of 10, you've got to be like, wow. Oh my God, I've just woken up. I could have died during the night, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Carpe diem,
I mean, respect to people who are acting like genuinely dealing with, difficult situations.
Oh, I make you look bad.
No. Simon is going to kill me. Simon, like genuinely, respect to them. Yeah. Like obviously people are genuinely having reasons to not be happy.
No, that's fair enough.
We're just speaking for everybody else, right?
Yeah,
no, seriously. You have to wake up every day with the, mindset that it's a good day. Like, it's going to be a good day for you.
Yeah.
And, like, you just wake up with that optimism, I guess. I know that not everyone has that, which is, like, fair enough. right? Not everybody is there yet. It's
I think you can learn.
Yeah. It's something to learn, something to pick up, and it really makes such a huge difference. Because one thing for me, like, I had to really bring my guard down. I remember the first feedback I received.
Yeah.
Like, when I went home that day, I'm like, okay, what was so wrong about this feedback? What I did was not good enough. Like, I think I had come into the office late, and that's because I assumed it was okay because I was traveling, so like it didn't really matter, blah blah blah. But then, you know, my manager saying, "Oh, you can't do that. This is what you can do. It's what you can't do." She's clearly stating the line, like the boundary lines. That is good relationship. That is very healthy. You know, so that it's not a thing where, you know, I wake up the next day, I'm like, oh,
it's not a judgment.
It's not judging me. She's just calling out this action. Why did you do it? Okay, this is why you did it good. However, we shouldn't do it this way. Do it this way. Da 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 da. But because it's like, oh, why? Is it because I'm black? Is it because I'm da da da? But then, like, when I had to take a step back, I'm like, there was absolutely nothing wrong with that feedback.
Yeah,
that was just normal feedback. Obviously, I'm not going to get everything right, but I think it's important that I do not approach every situation with that, you know, wall built up.
Yeah.
Do these things happen? Do people get treated a certain way because of the color of their skin? Absolutely. Do people get treated a certain way because of their gender? Absolutely. However, in that situation, that was not the case. So I think it's very important that you come with a neutral mindset. Some days you're just not in the mood.
Yeah, some days it's not every day.
Yeah, not every day. Like, some days you're just not in the mood. That's fine. But I think more often than not, like, always come with the mindset that, okay, this is a workplace. People here are not out for me, blah, blah, blah. And embrace every opportunity as, you know, every experience as a unique one, rather than generalize and think, oh, I remember hearing this person, someone else's experience in their workplace with their boss. Well, that's not you. That's not your life. Did that happen to someone else? That's tragic. We empathize with them. But don't, you know, when you project other people's trauma, like, you look at your life through the lens of someone else's trauma. Yeah, like, don't do that. It will really mess up your professional life. So I think that's something that people need to be very careful of.
Well, I think that's a really good point.
Thank you very much, Simon.
I bet.
I think one thing that would be really good for people to know is how to build professional relationships. So what are the practical steps that people can take to form more meaningful relationships within the workplace?
I think, well, for starters, getting back in the office.
True. Especially now that we're all working remotely.
Yeah, because I think, I don't know. So I do sometimes do it. Like, I do occasionally message people on Teams, like, oh, hi, you all right? Do you want to call?
Do you do that?
Sometimes.
Like, you never message me to ask if I'm all right.
I never actually do that. So what I'm trying to say. But like, occasionally I might do that.
Yeah.
In previous jobs.
Nice save.
Yeah. And but it feels a bit weird to do that, you know, and then just have like a little catch up. Whereas if you're in the office, I just walk up to people, oh, hi, how are you? Oh, you've been on holiday, where do you, it looks like you've got a tan, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So stuff like that. I think getting back in the office, finding a job where you're actually like seeing people in person, I think it's really key. I think one key thing when you're communicating with people is some people you're just not going to be that bothered about, and probably just, you know, be friendly, but maybe just keep them at a distance. But find those people, try and, you know, see people as like a movie character or something like that. Like, wow, like, try and be like really interested with what they've got to say. And like, oh my God, like, what did you mean by that? Or, oh, you went to here, like, what were you doing there?
Yeah.
Oh, you were, you know, oh, you went with your best mate. How did you find each other? Oh, really? What was she like when you were younger? What would she say about you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm really interested in them. And if you like them, then they're more likely to like you. Do you know, if that makes sense? So, become really interested in them. I think asking loads of questions, open-ended questions. And even just like, if they say something at the end, we went to watch this movie last night called, I don't know, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Fast and Furious, 27, whatever number it's on now. It was really good. They might say that, and then you can be like, oh, it was good. Like, you just end it, and then they'll go, yeah, it was good because they had this car in. It was it's always been my favourite car since I was young. And then you go,
people like the car.
Yeah, you can just say it's your favourite car. Then you'll be like, yeah, when I was younger, my dad, he used to drive that car around, and you know, get people talking. Try and find out what they're passionate about. Some people might be running. you know, and then whenever you see them, you could be like, oh, how's the running coming along, or how's the cycling, or if you know someone's just been on holiday, try and remember where they went on holiday to, remember who it was with, and then you can say, oh, how was your holiday to Greece with, you know, with your wife, whatever her name is. If you can remember details like that, people will notice that.
Yeah, and they'll be more comfortable around you, like, because it also is like, it shows that you are interested in them.
Yeah.
People want her.
Yeah. And if you ask them loads of questions, but also you have to really want to know, otherwise it will come across as disingenuous. It shows that person like, wow, this guy really, you know, wants to know what I've got to say. He likes me. That feels good. It feels good to be liked.
Feels good, yeah.
So they're going to like being in your company, you know. So
I think there's something you said I think is very important in terms of networking, I think, which I would say is probably a misconception, and that is the fact that networking only takes place within the workplace. But no, not necessarily. You can actually meet very important people in your career journey outside of the work space. You can meet people that could potentially impact your career at the gym or online, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on the streets, literally at the pub, anywhere.
Yeah.
But I guess it's like what you make out of those conversations, of those interactions. And as you say, like, people want to know that you are genuinely interested in them. So I think I probably will say that one of the nicest ways to network is probably outside of the workplace, because then people have their guards down and they just want to have like a good time. So then you're able to really get them to chat and talk. So I would really, one thing I would say to people actually is that they need to make sure that wherever you find yourself, whatever space you find yourself, you are able to still engage with people. Like, just make the best out of every interaction, every experience that we have with people. And you also said something that I really, really want people to pay very keen attention to. And that's the fact that you don't want to come off as disingenuous. And I think that's also around the fact, you know, the idea that you don't have to, how do I say this? So I know people who tend to want to get to know other people, want to be close to people for the things that they will gain from them. Rather than see everybody as, you know, a potential opportunity, and, you know, you're just trying to be a parasite and leave them. How about you just approach people because, well, out of interest, like out of the goodness of your heart, let your kindness speak, let your genuineness speak for you. You know, let people see that you're a genuine person, that you genuinely care about people, genuinely care about them, or you're interested in them, as opposed to, you know, you seeing everybody as, oh, this is a potential opportunity, I'm just going to try and be close to them just because of what I want to gain.
I might gain.
Yeah, no, that's a bit selfish. And I think it's very important that you don't see life through that opportunistic point of view, because it's not very healthy.
Yeah, I think also a lot of the time, you know, the other end of the spectrum, like what you were saying before about always gaining or trying to think, oh, I can gain from this person. But sometimes you might see maybe it's posted on the team's channel, oh, is someone free to be able to do this? It's about taking an opportunity on. Yeah, it might take, you know, an hour of your time out of the day, but from that, you've got to know someone there, you've helped someone out, so then you know what I mean, you're building that relationship with them. So in the future, maybe, I don't know, you might need a bit of advice with something. Oh, maybe I can ask them, what do you think about this? So if you give to someone that reciprocity principle, you know, they might give back to you. And even if they don't, it makes you feel good. And just building that relationship. So sometimes the best thing you can do, especially if you're starting off in your career, is just helping people out, you know, even if it's just something simple, you know, like following someone to one of their presentations that they've got to do. Just be, oh, I'd love to tag along with that. Can I? How can I help? You know, blah blah blah. Just go, oh, I'll carry the bags. You know, something like that. You can, you know, it just, I think your reputation gets you out. Do you know what I mean? So even just trying to think, how can I give? Is sometimes a better principle, but also that's more genuine as well.
Yeah,
you're not feeling dodgy, or, you know, more natural.
Yeah, I think there's something there to learn around service. Like being able to just pour into people, helping them. Not being opportunistic. I don't know what it is about people who are opportunistic. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
I remember someone, you know, saying to me, like, one of her life's principles is that so even if she doesn't like somebody, or if someone has offended her, the reason she's not going to like completely cut them out of her life is because she's not like, you never know when you need them. I'm like, I see how that's that could be something that's good. Like you're holding on to people because you are scared that you might need them in the future and they might not be there. But I also think it's not very genuine. So that you're not holding on to them because you want to, or because you genuinely like them or want them in your life, but because of a perceived benefit that you will get from them in the foreseeable future.
I get weird.
Yeah. It wasn't a principle that I was comfortable with, because I'm like, okay, what about me? Do you really like me? Or am I
am I that person?
Yeah, am I that person? Like, there's no telling, because it's something that she would say often. Like, oh, you have to be close to everybody. Me, I'm very close to everybody. That's why, like, because you never know when you need somebody. I get that. I get how you need to be kind to people because you never know. But let the fact that you never know, let that not be your reason for holding on to people. Hold on to them because you genuinely
they uplift you.
Yes.
Yeah. They make you feel
let
good.
The relationships be meaningful. Don't have meaningless relationships just because you never.
Or the off chance.
Yeah. I think, service is so important. If you want to keep them in your life, maybe they are not really giving you much.
Onome, it's the only reason why I'm here. I'm giving you my praise because I think one day, Onome might.
This podcast will become so, famous and popular, and everybody will know me. And then you can boast of the fact that you met me in my days of humble beginnings. You're welcome, Simon. I'm literally putting you on the...
Oh, okay. Oh, am I thanking you for this? Okay.
Yeah.
Your modesty is showing through this podcast, isn't it?
I'm actually such a modest girl. No, but really, thank you. Actually, I think we've had such really good conversations. And to wrap it up very nicely, are there any resources or materials that you can point people to for people who are really looking to grow their professional network?
Yeah, I'll say there's like a few avenues. I look at, in terms of career, there's two different categories or routes of development. One is technical skills, ability, going into detail of all of that. And then the other is the more, networking side of things, communication skills, about being able to implement those ideas, those skills in the real world. And that requires communication skills, particularly the amount of meetings that we have with external stakeholders, presentations. So they're the two skills. But I think the technical skills, that's everyone's focus. Project management courses, master's degrees, bachelor's of science. I often think people miss out on the communication skills, developing those networking skills. So those skills, I think, is quite lacking in the world of, work. So if you can really focus on those, you can stand out.
Absolutely.
And different avenues for developing those, I'll say YouTube's a great source of information. So clicking on, going on a YouTube video, communication skills. There's loads of YouTube channels out there. What books can I read to, increase my influence skills? I think one of the best buys that you can make and that I've made is a Kindle. Taking that with me. I've got one that's waterproof. I used to take that in the jacuzzi after the gym, read my book. I was living. And then read my books. So for instance, for influence and skills, the author that's probably most well known, Dale Carnegie. Any book by him, 100% read. Hundreds of millions of books sold. If you could pick up a book for like $4.99 on the Kindle, it's a no-brainer. The other one, and this is one which a lot of people recommend to me when you move into an organization, especially an organization that really cares about you and your development, is getting a mentor. But be picky with your mentor. So we're quite lucky in where we are that we've got, the West Midlands coaching and mentoring pool. So you can go and now picked up a mentor through that. Was really helpful. He was outside of our organisation. I could have honest conversations. So this person said this to me. What do you think I should, how should I react to that? Because I didn't know how to react. You know what I mean? You can really, and then he can say, do you know what? So I had the same experience with you. When I was younger, this is what I did with it. This is what I would have done differently. What do you think you should do? And he challenged me. And it's just an avenue for you to have honest and open conversations where you can throw ideas out, especially as Onome, what you were saying before. You've moved away from home. You don't have your family there, around the dinner table to bounce ideas off and say, I had this happen to me at work today. Mum or dad, whoever it is that you normally speak to, they might not be there to have those conversations with us, especially for people, like you and I have moved away from home. not that, that you don't speak, maybe you don't speak to them that close, or have that close net friends. They might be back in Nigeria or something. Yeah. Having someone like a mentor you can speak to every now and again to have honest and open conversation would be really useful.
That's really good.
But yeah, develop those skills, communication skills, listening, but then like actually trying to implement them, because it's all very good and well, like reading this knowledge, but if you don't implement it, what's the point?
Yeah.
So I was reading these books and I'd practice them. I'd go into the coffee house, I'd start chatting to the man behind the bar, or the coffee bar, or in the train. I met a fantastic friend in the train. I don't know, she was like 50s, I think she was in the like 70s or something. We were chatting the whole way from London to Birmingham. We changed numbers. We met up loads of times. We met up in London, we met up in Birmingham.
Oh, wow.
I was practicing all these communication figures, and I've generally really got, had a great conversation with her. It was it was so much fun, and we kept meeting up. And then I met her daughter, and her daughter was like the same, like even older than me. And it was just so funny. She was like, "Oh my god, what are you doing hanging out with this young man?"
It was so weird.
It was just fun, But it's about actually having the guts to go out and actually implement what you've learned. Some things aren't going to work. Some things aren't going to work, but it's about giving it a go. So I think a Kindle is a great investment. Honestly, I love my Kindle.
Good. And I really encourage people to read more, to be honest. I think
I've got out the habit. I need to get back in it. I was reading on the train here.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. I typically read on the train. I think that's also why I don't really mind the train ride, because I get to read.
You're using that time.
Yeah, I'm using that time to read. I wasn't really much of a reader, but I realized that there's a lot of wisdom.
No, yeah.
Honestly, be very picky about the books you read.
100%.
But there's a lot of wisdom in books. There's something about reading it and, as you say, implementing it. Actually, think of your life as a project. You try things out.
Yeah.
Some things might not work, as you said. Others might. And even if something might be good, but you might not get it right the first time. Yeah. And I think there's also something there around keep going. Don't just give up. The fact that you've had one bad experience at work or one bad experience with networking or meeting people does not mean that you are doomed to not make any meaningful friendships for the rest of your life. Absolutely not. I know people who have given up on building relationships, and it's really sad. I really empathize with you if you've had those experiences where it's not really worked out. But hear me, genuinely, you are yet to meet a lot of amazing people. Some of the best people that you have in your life, you're probably still yet to meet them.
100%.
I think you need to just let it go, sit with yourself and find out some of the things that hurt, what went wrong, why, how can you avoid that situation, do all that introspection, but keep going, keep building your knowledge base, keep seeking out knowledge, keep practicing. Some people might make your experience a bit hellish, but that doesn't mean that everybody will.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think just learn from the bad experiences and keep going.
Great point.
Yeah, hopefully you would get a hang of it.
But Onome, on that, loads of people you meet who you look up to in the workplace or, in life, maybe it's a family member, maybe someone at work, you can be assured that, one or two of them, whoever they are, they have had awful experiences in the workplace.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Did it put them off? Maybe, maybe at the time they were like, oh, do you know what? I can't deal with it. But they, they persevered. They kept going. And listen, I'm not a successful person. I've had awful experience in the workplace. So you wouldn't believe it. I'm not going to say I'm here. Yeah. Honestly, awful. Did I let that affect me? At the time, yeah, it did affect me.
Definitely, because...
But, I'm not going to let that or let them be, control my life. Do you know what I'm saying?
Them such a...
That satisfaction.
Yeah, they're not that important that they get to define who you then become.
Exactly.
I think it's really important that we're able to manage our reactions to things.
And if you think there are people that are really toxic, they're really having that negative influence in your life, you might just have to take yourself out of that environment. It might mean changing jobs.
Yeah.
But just because you have to, quit that job to start a new job, that's not a failure. That might be the best move that you can make.
Actually.
Sometimes you've got to take a step down to take 2 steps forward.
Absolutely.
That's what I did when I came to this job. I took a step down. I went from an officer role to a graduate role to then go, right, what I'm going to do is when I get in there, going to get to know of it, then I'm going to apply for a senior officer. I'm going to get a senior officer. And that's what I did. But sometimes take that step down, take 2 forward.
Absolutely. But
Yeah.
that's what I did as well. I went from upside roll and now I'm doing quattro roll.
And look at you now. You're going to be shining.
Yeah, I am shining. But yeah, absolutely. And I think, yeah, that was really good. That was very good, Simon. I really hope that there's someone here who, I mean, if you can relate, I guess, to some of the things that we've said, definitely like apply them to your life. The one that works for you, obviously, because we know that we've not covered every single
Yeah.
perspective.
I'm not an expert, so I was never going to that.
Exactly.
But it's all
Like,
right.
no, there's some things that might be peculiar to your life that we've
Candy,
said.
leave your comments below.
Please, thank you.
For you, Candy.
Yeah, Candice is so wild. I wish she was here, you know.
Oh, yeah, she'd be brilliant.
We'll probably have like a 2-hour episode,
Yeah.
but it will be really good because she's so wild.
Yeah.
And then she has a lot of
fun.
experience.
She's
Yeah. She's, oh wow, what are we speaking of? Wow.
Anyway, can we talk more about me? I don't want to talk about Candy.
Yeah. No, but I feel like a lot of the people that I've met along my career journey, I can begin to name them. But I feel like that would be very biased. But now that we've already said something about Candice, it's like there's still everybody else. But no. But yeah, I mean, they know themselves. It's been so, pivotal to my career growth and just like my development in the UK in general. I think also there's something around like not being shy to say that, I need help. I'm struggling because none of us was born to know how to network with people. None of us was born with that knowledge. It's something that you will pick up along the way. So do give yourself grace. If you are at a place in your life where you're struggling with making relationships, I think it's really important that you recognize that it's still a learning curve. You're on a journey and, at every point in your life, you will be learning something new. So wherever you are right now, identify areas that you can be better, do better, and use some of the tips and tricks that Simon has shared on this episode. And I really hope that you're able to build meaningful relationships in your life. You see how Simon has me in his life? You can be lucky like Simon.
Come on.
Come on.
You're amazing, yeah? You're absolutely amazing. You can do whatever you want. Oh my God, you've woken up this morning. What a blessing. Boom. Carpe diem. Let's attack the day, seize the day.
Yeah.
Happy days, memento mori. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, let's get it. We are living.
Come on.
Come on.
That was a very good attempt. I was not supposed to be a pep talk or motivational speech.
That was like a little this is it.
Come on, wake up.
We're in Manchester.
Maybe I should post this on a Sunday. So it's a really good episode for Monday.
Yeah.
It's like they wake up with all the energy.
Every day's Friday. Yeah. Happy Friday.
Yeah.
All right, maybe we go into this like that.
Well, that was really good. Thank you so much, Simon.
Thank you, Onome,
for coming on the Growing and Becoming podcast. Really good. High five.
High five.
Been good. Well, yeah. Bye, everybody. See you on the next episode. Oh, no. Actually, I just wanted to give everybody a quick update. So this is what we have left. So clearly,
It's in the bin.
Simon enjoyed. Man. Simon enjoyed the puff because there's nothing left.
Oh, that's Simon.
Let's do one to just say goodbye to the episode.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, everybody. And grab yourself a bowl of puff.